Well, good Friday morning. It's finally Friday. We've thought it was Friday since Wednesday, so this is great. Taking a live look over Denver right now. It is the final mild, dry day before some moisture. Good morning. Thanks for joining us, TGIF friends.
Thank goodness. And we say this all the time, but I truly feel it. What a year this week has been.
On Tuesday, Corey and I thought it was Wednesday. It's been a weird week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every day we've been off since.
We've been off.
Today it is legit Friday. Thank goodness.
Good morning, everybody. The weekend finally here. Let's get a check of that weekend forecast with Ed Green. Ed, snow in the forecast for them.
Jordan, this is actually your third Friday, right?
It truly is. I mean, working overtime this weekend.
You know, and these models are still, as close as the storm is, all confused. Some that were saying heavy snows now saying lighter snows, and then the reverse is true with the other ones. Those who are saying lighter now saying heavier snows. Some have maybe 0 to a tenth of an inch of rain in Denver. Others have up to 2.35 inches. That is a huge difference on this storm. But here it is, and you can see it's getting its act together. Lots of snow and lots to go through Denver at this hour. We don't have the cold air yet here, so we are mild. We're at 35 degrees at this hour, but as the day goes on, those temperatures will sort of level off, and then we'll keep in the 50s instead of the 60s that we've seen for the last 5 days. So 20s and 30s, and then single digits, teens, 20s for the high country. We're 45 over there in Grand Junction. 56 degrees is where we're going today with possible late showers. Then for tomorrow, 41 degrees with rain and snow. The rain and snow ends on Sunday and 43 degrees, so we're back to sunshine on Monday and 49. Look at Tuesday, pretty nice day, 57 degrees with partly sunny skies. Another little system comes our way, and right now looks like just a couple of scattered showers and a few degrees cooler.
Ed, thank you. A live look at your Friday morning drive from CDOT right now. This is 270 and York Street, smooth sailing. Couple cars out here. No problems at I-70 and 270 north of the Metro, Highway 34 and I-25 and me. Just a few cars out there. 6th Avenue in Lakewood at Garrison Street. Don't even see any cars. Right now, let's take you over to the graphics and check in. Light volume out here, which means we are seeing a lot of green on the graphics. Travel times are quick. 14 to 15 minutes is what we're seeing on I-25 between downtown and the Denver Tech Center as you get ready to travel elsewhere. No problems on either side of 270 or 76 through Commerce City.
New this morning, Aurora police want your help tracking down a suspect in a deadly shooting. Police say it happened on East Ford near the intersection with South Peoria Street just after 10 yesterday morning. That's where officers found a 33-year-old man hurt. Officers worked on the man until medics arrived. Then an ambulance rushed him to a nearby hospital where he later died. No arrests have been made. If you know anything about what happened, call Aurora police. Also in Aurora, and nearly 7 hours later, police were called out to another shooting. This one happened off of East Florida Avenue near Cottonwood Grove Park just before 4:45. Police say they found one man with serious injuries. He was taken to a nearby hospital for treatment where he later died. At this time, nobody is in custody.
Pedestrians and cyclists really have to watch out when crossing any streets in the state. New data shows the number of road deaths is at a record high. 90's reporter Brianna Fernandez joins us now. And Brianna, most of these hits occur at night.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So not only at night, but in urban areas, especially where we see a lot of traffic. Last year, according to CDOT, 67% of pedestrian fatalities happened when it was dark out. And when I spoke to CDOT, they say that most of these areas are either poor lit or have no street lights at all, which makes it harder for drivers to see pedestrians. The hotspots for most of these crashes and fatalities, Denver, Aurora, and Colorado Springs. So these areas tend to be dangerous for pedestrians as well as cyclists because they're also sharing the roads with cars in areas that can see a lot of congestion. So in 2021, there were more than 100 fatalities. 2022, that number sits at 130. And while the final data is still not out for 2023, it sits at around 150 fatalities.
There is a lot that can be done, and towns and municipalities and CDOT are working to make our roadways safer for pedestrians, but that takes a while. But you know what doesn't take a while is changing people's behavior. That means drivers need to slow down in urban environments, especially at night, always yield to pedestrians and use caution.
So with this new data, Cole says that CDOT is focusing on both pedestrian and cyclist safety. But again, like you just heard him, you just have to slow down, especially in those urban areas and poor lit areas as well. Jordan, Corey.
Yeah. And Brianna, really, it's everybody's, responsibility now to be looking out for each other. Somebody, may be distracted by something else. So everybody needs to be on alert.
Exactly. Texting and driving is actually one of the number one things that CDOT is looking at. So, of course, put your phone down when you're driving, especially on those areas that we see a lot of pedestrians or cyclists.
Absolutely. All right, Brianna, thank you.
Police are still looking for a driver who plowed into a group of cyclists on Lookout Mountain more than 6 weeks ago. David Keating was one of those cyclists hit. He broke his leg, fractured his neck, and suffered a severe traumatic brain injury. His wife, Karina, is by his side at the hospital as he recovers. She says David is a stickler for cycling safety, and she wishes everyone else on the road would be too.
Colorado is known for its recreation, and so the answer isn't for people to recreate less. Like the answer is for everybody, people who are cycling and hiking or doing whatever for recreation, and people that are in cars, to work together to create a safe environment so that things like this don't happen.
Colorado State Patrol are actually looking for 2 drivers, both in Mustangs, both accused of aggressive driving. Only one crashed into cyclists. We have those vehicle descriptions and a case number on our website.
This year is expected to be the first time in 14 years that Colorado state budget fully funds schools, meaning it gives them what the state says that they should receive. Colorado could get a whole new school funding formula for the first time in 30 years. The current system gives weight to district-wide factors like school size and the cost of living. Critics say that favors wealthy communities and means Colorado's funding per pupil is way below the national average. A bipartisan group put together by the state legislature is suggesting a new formula focused on things like the number of students living in poverty or English language learners. The new school funding formula proposal would increase funding to the vast majority of schools, but would need an additional $474 million of state funding.
Some good news post-pandemic. Researchers from Harvard and Stanford tracked the annual test data from 30 states for 3rd through 8th graders. The results showed test scores in reading and math improved last spring for the first time since the pandemic. Still, overall test scores across the country remain lower than before the pandemic.
The trial continues for the mother of the Oxford High School shooter. Jennifer Crumbly took the stand in the Michigan courtroom. She and her husband are facing charges of involuntary manslaughter. As prosecutors say they could have helped prevent the shooting their son Ethan committed. While on the stand, Crumbly alleged that in her home, it was her husband who was in charge of gun safety responsibilities.
Whether or not we have to bundle up for 6 more weeks gets decided today by a rodent. It's Groundhog Day. The legend says if Punxsutawney Phil sees his shadow, there will be 6 more weeks of winter. If he doesn't see his shadow, spring may be just around the corner. Now remember, this is all in good fun. At Gobbler's Knob in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, it is a party. More than 30,000 people visit every year to celebrate Phil's forecast. Ahead of the big reveal, we want to know, do you want an early spring? Vote in our poll, 9news.com/vote now.